Okay, part 2, let's tile this shower. First I start with tiling the curb. I found that centering 2 tiles in the middle of the curb gave me the best layout. I always tile the sides of my curbs first. It distributes the weight more onto the floor than onto the top of the curb. So I put full coverage thin set on the sides. This is just an extra step that I do. It just really solidifies your curb. Next, I'm cutting metal for the top of the curb and just placing it there so I can get an accurate measurement for my top pieces of tile. I pitched the curb when I was prepping, so I didn't need to worry about pitching the tile inwards since the curb is already pitched inwards. Next, I just measured the standard size of each tile so I knew how to lay it out on the walls. I found that centering a joint up the back wall gave me the best layout as far as big pieces everywhere. Next, I checked if my height would work out along the ceiling, and it did, so I could start full off of the pan, and I would have a big piece up top too when I get up there. So I decided to wrap with my waist. It's kind of cool because the pattern on the tile continues all the way around the shower when you do that. Once you have your first row set on your pan, it's nice and level, so from there on it's pretty easy. You just get to set your tile, put in some spacers so there's room for grout in the joints, and you just kind of go from there. I got to a good height for the recess, so this is me just making sure it's level, and then I just trace the whole recess out, and then just cut it out with the Fiend, and then it fits perfectly in there since you traced along the outside. These recesses fit perfectly between standard 16-inch studs, so you just screw them into the studs, and then you just use a polyurethane caulk just to seal everything and make it completely waterproof. The recess itself is already waterproof, but you want to seal up those joints so you don't get any water in between the board and the recess. This is just an easy way of measuring. I know I'm level everywhere, so it's just a perfect 90-degree angle, and you just cut it with a diamond blade cutoff wheel. I got within a row to the ceiling, so I threw the ceiling on first and then cut each tile to fit the ceiling. It wasn't perfectly level, so I had to mark each tile twice so I could have a nicer looking joint up top. The homeowner wanted a picture frame around her shower, so I did the outside of the shower next and just made sure to continue pattern and make sure all my joints lined up perfectly. We usually save the recesses for last just because it's a lot of cutting and fidgety stuff. So I made sure my bottom tile had pitch so any water that gets in there goes out of the recess right away, and then just tiled in everything else with some accent floor tile.